Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Hello, everybody. We are connected, are we?
Yeah, we connected, I think. Yeah,
Oh.
we are connected, right?
All right. Welcome to it. This is another edition of the Geeks Connect Show with myself, Tiani, and Uncle Misho. We have a very cool guest in studio. We'll introduce her. But yeah, so this is the show that connects you to fellow geeks, to your app users, innovation structures, tools, and platforms, and all things technology, and assessing the health of the geek ecosystem, of the geek culture in South Africa as such. But just firstly, Misho, where did you turn up to in the past few days?
I always forget that question because one gets up to a lot of things. Where were we?
I think there was Startup Grind Pretoria.
Yes, Startup Grind Pretoria it was a blockchain topic, talking about blockchain. So there were two guys from there, one from blockchain and one from Aziza. They were talking about, the new oil blockchain.
No, I thought that was data.
Well, it's moving to blockchain. So everything now blockchain. As you said, people are no longer asking for app requests.
Oh yeah. So people are asking when you hear someone saying that I have an app idea, you are so 2000 late, and we are so 2018.
Yeah.
So it's no longer about I have an app idea, I have a blockchain idea, and we have seen a lot of blockchain ideas from energy schemes to funding projects with blockchain, and it's been quite an interesting ecosystem to observe. We also turned up to we launched a 4-month blockchain program.
Yes.
A few weeks back. So this is a blockchain IO facilitated by one Mr. Tlas Gabini, and this is to get young techies, hands-on, your blockchain enthusiasts, cryptographers, your futurists as such, and then we get them to be actually being hands-on and making sure that South Africa is not left behind as far as the technology is concerned.
So we will touch base on a couple of things that are happening in the blockchain space where you guys can get involved. There is some really cool stuff lined up. And I think one of the reasons why I forget why we turned up is because we've been going up and down, meeting really cool people, planning for a couple of things that are lined up. So we'll tell you a little bit about some really exciting announcements that we're going to drop. But don't forget to join the conversation using the hashtag GeeksConnect. Drop us questions, comments. Hi, Emily. Hi, Tabo. We see you guys. So anything you guys want to chat about, use the hashtag GeeksConnect.
Yes, and today we're talking all things jobs, workspace, future of work, all the interesting stuff that people are looking for. Everyone is looking for a job. When I opened Facebook this morning, I saw a lot of those placards, where people stand on the roads. I'm looking for a job and all that. So the situation keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll hear a lot. Last time we had Vanessa here telling us about how to prepare yourself from a CV point of view. I'm actually looking forward to today's conversation in terms of what is the future of work and more ways of actually prepping yourself. So we've got someone, actually let me show you guys. If you are live on Facebook, there she is.
And she's just wearing a red jacket on a red chair, red lipsticks. Yeah, man, representing.
Where's your red lipstick?
He forgot it.
You forgot your red lipstick.
Oh, shut up.
All right, so tune in. It's going to be quite an interesting conversation. Lisady, we see you. And thank you guys for joining in. Don't forget to drop those questions.
Yes, but let's introduce our lovely guest in studio. But we'll just let her introduce herself. Yeah, please have that honor.
All right. Good morning, Gigs. Whenever I see these two gentlemen here, I feel like I come from the Stone Age because they speak about cool and all things interesting about techie. But in any case, my name is Rehab Matabane. I'm an HR specialist. I've been in the HR industry for more than 20 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a mentor. I'm just a woman trying to do the best that I can in this environment.
And she's definitely doing quite a lot, doing really well. So what she gave you guys is honestly, I feel, is not It's not enough. She just gave you a summary of a summary of a summary of a bio.
Okay, we get it, Michelle.
But we'll jump into it. I will unpack it quite soon.
Yes. Any announcements you have, Michelle, from your side, quickly?
There's a couple of things happening. So I will actually got a tweet that's gonna go out very soon.
Okay.
There's a couple of stuff you guys can check out that's happening. BCX is looking for data scientist students to enter their internship program. We've got a meetup that we have on the 25th. We'll talk about that as well. Those that are so there's a couple of things. We'll just go through them later.
Oh, okay. So we'll go through those things through the Geek Guide.
Yes.
All right. But let's get to the interview. Let's get to the
jump
interview
into
and find out exactly who exactly do we have in front of us and what does it do exactly. I know on your Twitter handle says Mapitsi Holdings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so Mapitsi Holdings is a brand. It's a company that started in 2003. We majorly work within the HR space. So we help SMEs, we help large businesses to do, often businesses have operational strategies, but they lack to look at their people strategies. So they don't plan around what their plans are in terms of people strategies. So we ensure that companies have HR policies in place, they've got HR processes, and they have proper HR procedures in line with the Labor Relations Act 66 of 1995. So that's a service that we offer. We also work together with a lot of incubation centers where we come in as an HR mentor to ensure that they are aligned. Much as you've got your business plan, you've got to ensure that your people strategy is aligned. And we're also in a very, very interesting space in landscaping. So I'm a landscaper. So we offer landscape maintenance at huge corporates in national, so all we want to do is just to break and disrupt what used to be male professions. So we offer that to organizations. And also,
can you unpack the landscaping part?
Okay, so the landscaping works from the design. So there's the engineering side, that's the design.
Yeah.
And then from there, after you design, we call it installation. So let's say you find land. Let's take the land back now. So we find the land. Obviously, you'll have your structural engineers building the structure, and then we will come in, do what we call soil preparation. So to ensure that the soil is in accordance with what they want to build. And that's another technology on its own. And then further to that, we will do the installation, which means the nice things that you see about landscaping, the plants. And now we're talking, because of the whole eco-friendly thing, we're talking about eco-friendly plants. To ensure that corporates don't spend a lot of money on watering plants, but rather get plants that are very self-sustaining, but they still look beautiful. We're moving into a world of aesthetics now, so looks are everything. So we ensure that we align ourselves together with that.
Looks are everything. I know.
So also there's part of it, it's called gardening maintenance. That's your basic gardening maintenance, because we find your garden, be sure, as the way it is. You just want to maintain it as it is. So we'll do that. And that speaks about pest control. And this industry, a lot of people think gardening is just just sweep my garden. There's a science and technology around gardening. So there's a lot of compliance, for example, with the Department of Agriculture. So our guys have to be certified, be qualified, to be pest control specialist. So they would come in and do weed control, the certain chemicals that we use. So that's why those chemicals have to be governed in terms of the environmental standards of the country.
I told you she did a summary of it, bio.
So and also we do a lot of anything greenery. So one thing that I'm very, very passionate with is also because I'm a philanthropist by heart. We talk to our clients and say, listen, you want to give back to communities. People don't look. We never look internally of what we have. We aspire to do a lot of things, but we think these are so far-fetched. So somebody must give me something. So we go to them and said, listen, give us 10% of your land space that you have currently. And we turn that 10% into organic vegetable gardening. It is possible.
Nice.
And then we teach. We what we do is we don't just install the plants. We now use it, and the HR aspect come in, where we talk to that organization and say, listen, let's do what we call employee engagement program. that thing really means you are engaging employees to be involved in something that would be of beneficial to them, but also they will be giving out time. I understand, we have 67 days to give off of Mandela Day. However, it has to be sustained.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations just bank on July, and then nothing happens afterwards.
Exactly.
So what we do is just make businesses think beyond. Just break away that disrupt that way of thinking that we don't have anything. Use the space that you have. Let's start a vegetable garden.
Nice.
I mean, nothing. The one that we're very proud of, we did it at Prime Media. So we took out all their flowers, like of a better word, that they had, and we installed. And this was done all under satellite. We were all looked at from the soil preparation until the harvesting. And we use different methodologies called, for example, permaculture. And that's where we use herbs and vegetables. So we don't use any pesticides because we say it's organic. So we use those methodologies. I mean, it's very interesting and something that I'm very passionate of. So those are the things that we do. So we think out of the box.
All right. Seems like, are you getting schooled, Misho, today?
Yeah, man. Like, look, I love gardening. Actually, I love playing and spending time in the
All
garden.
right.
So that's quite interesting.
Okay, well, we are going to take a quick ad break, and after that, we'll be finding out some of her favorite technologies. Perhaps that helps us make sure that she stays on top of a game with a company in gardening. We'll be back after this.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za.
Nang, how are you?
Hi, Tuli. Look so beautiful. Hey, long time no see. What happened to your skin, by the way? The last time I saw you, you had a lot of blemishes and breakouts. It was so terrible, man.
Wow, thanks for that, Bernard. Luckily, I discovered DMK. Have you heard of DMK?
DMK? Who are they?
DMK is a paramedical skincare brand that specializes in all skin conditions. Would you like their number?
Yes, please.
I know you're not good at numbers, so let me give you their website address because your skin looks terrible. It's www.dmkskincare.co.za.
Whether you're an athlete or just going about your day-to-day business, use Turbo Freeze on the go for any pain relief or inflammation. It's the #1 pain relief formula. To find out more, log on to our website www.turbofreeze.co.za.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still tuned into the Geeks Connect show on this Women's Month edition. So yes, all the guests that we have in the studio are female because, they say the future is female. Do you believe that, Misho?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think the future is female?
Why do I think the future is female?
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot that women can actually do in this space.
Okay.
You're actually seeing a lot of women playing in the tech. I'll obviously talk from a tech point of view. There's a lot of, we just are reckless. They come in not just with the knowledge and the intelligence, but that warmly feel to it and nurturing a lot of things. So reckless people like T can be guided properly.
Wow. I was reading an article last night. They did cite that actually women prefer brains and men don't care. Yeah. Anyway, we're still continuing with the interview with Rehab Matabane. Jeez, I always get her surname wrong.
You got it right this time.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, brains, huh?
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Brains way.
Anyway, but just before the break, wanted to find out what are some of your favorite technologies, perhaps technologies that help you do your work better.
Okay, so T, you know that in this regard, that's why I pair up with you guys. I've got a lot to learn. So, I use technologies personally in my personal life. For example, we're all adults here. There's an app called Clue. So it's an app that monitors the menstruation periods and what you do. And what you do, literally, you log in how you're feeling on that day, the pains and everything else. So it does, in a way, inform you of the things that you need to look out for in terms of your next cycle. So that's a very, very nice app.
Sorry, what do you call it? Clue?
Clue. CLUE.
CLUE?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it tells you your fertility times and all those kind of things. Okay. And then Ekurhuleni, I use the Ekurhuleni app just for service delivery because I live in the area. And I use...
Nice. Shout out to
Ekurhuleni, yeah. And I must say, yesterday was the first time I used it, and the service was very prompt. So I was very, very impressed. Unlike going on to calling their call center, which is usually horrible.
Yeah.
You don't want to experience that. Yeah. And I use, in my lifestyle, your banking app, I'm a fitness addict. So I use my Virgin Active or whatever. So I've got so many apps. But I think in terms of the HR space, I think that's where we're lacking. There is no app that I've seen, and unless if it was established yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no app that speaks about HR that connects really young people on how to prepare them for the future of work, on the things that they should look out for. I understand the CVs and everything else; those things are replicated everywhere, but it has to be a meaningful app that needs to be of value to the candidate at this moment.
I hope that the gigs are taking notes out there. I hope you're taking notes out there. So apps are still needed everywhere.
Absolutely.
Maybe integrate blockchain into that.
Yeah. So guys, there's a need for a HR app.
Yeah.
I mean, how important is for a young techie who's going to the workspace? Yeah, we always prepare from a CV point of view, right?
Yeah.
So what should we know about HR? What are some of the stumbling blocks that we might come across when we're in the working space?
Okay, so a lot of times, not to disrespect our education system, but most of the time, I've been in corporate for such a long time, they do not prepare you on the softer side and the things that you need to look out for in terms of preparing you for work. What you get trained at university is your skills, your technical skills. For example, if you're a techie, you will be prepared on applications and business science and all that. If I'm in HR, I'll be taught about the labor relations and everything. When I come into the workplace, psychologically, it's a new set of rules. So, for example, when I walk in, think about the day you walked in at university. You all like very crazy, comfortable. You like it's a very safe space. When you get to a workplace,
I don't know about that.
Maybe when
I don't know what you're talking about.
So when you get to a work environment, we're looking at a very ready, packaged deal.
Yeah.
You come in, we want you to start rolling. There is no mummy who will look after you. There's nobody that will say, listen, this is what you need to be doing. In fact, there's nobody that will tell you how to behave.
Nice.
Because literally you know the technical skills, but you don't know how to interact, how to behave. And another thing that's missing in our education system is the leadership skills and the characteristics that you need in order to have the tenacity and agility to work in a workplace. I'll give you a typical example. When I worked for one of the major banks, we interviewed like really crazily intelligent people on a grad program. And those people could not even, the first time BlackBerry was just introduced at the time. And this guy, we did a pack for them to say, okay, you must get your BlackBerry and everything else. They could not even understand a BlackBerry. Another girl from Soweto thought a BlackBerry was like a muffin or all those kind of things. I mean, and this just goes to my heart and say, listen, we've got so many things that we want to do in this country, yet we are leaving the people behind.
Yeah.
So people are not ready in terms of interaction and interacting with my colleagues. My expectation is me as Misha when I walk into a workplace, how am I supposed to greet? How am I supposed to position myself? Do I come in and say hola to the CEO? At least things are changing now.
I'm not the CEO. Don't look at me.
I know. But, that confidence of saying, listen, I'm young.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm young. I don't have anything to add to the organization. I'm valuable. I know what role I'm going to play in the organization. Intergenerational intelligence, that I need you as an older person and you need me as a young person. How do we come in and cohesively build a strong team? And that's what creates unhappiness at a workplace. And a lot of young people are not ready for that. The other part is managers, when grads come in as a grad program, they use these people to be their skivvies, forgetting these people are intelligent.
Yeah.
These people are very informed. In fact, I mean, they can run the organization if they were given the platform to do so. So there's a mislink between the people that have been there before and the people that are coming in. It's almost like a competition, and there is no need for competition. We need the intergenerational intelligence to harness the growth of the organization.
I mean, that's quite a lot. And I mean, I'm thinking about maybe we really need that app or that platform
We
where
definitely
we can actually plug in and prepare ourselves. I'm assuming some organizations have some of these things in the process, but it's always great for young people just to say, how do I prepare myself while I'm still looking for a job? Actually, how do I prepare myself to what are some of the things I'll encounter on the way?
Yeah, the organizations have those things. We have HR policies. We've got big strategies. I mean, we're very good in doing those things. But as an app, as a young person now, I'm going for a grad program. It's my first day at work. What do I do? Besides the induction program that the company is doing, what are the global things? What are the common things that I need to look out for? And that's where the missing link is. Find out from your peers, how do they experience what you're going through. You might be in 3 different organizations. One organization might be doing it very well. The other one doesn't do it very well. How do I share? And also, how do I think my interest is more about a lot of older generation, we like pinning down people and making sure that you fit in within a box. And I mean, that's why I don't like, even in terms of marketing, the LSMs, those things, we don't put people in boxes. So as a young person getting into an organization, how do I have the conversation with my manager to tell him, listen, dude, I'm here for 2 years because I don't want to work for anybody for too long. And I'm speaking from experience because I knew that I'm not going to work for organizations for too long. How do I, as an HR person or line manager, when Tiani renders his resignation, or even maybe because you're young, remember when you're young, you speak out of your mind. You're like, you know what, in 3 months, I don't want to be here. But an older person, when they process the very same information, you don't want to be here, they start looking at you and say, okay, you came late is because you don't want to be here. Instead of using that organization, because high performers don't stay in organizations. High performers, we call them hotcakes. They are out there. If your organization is not challenging, they're out. So the conversations needs to happen intergenerational to say, listen, do you want to work for 2 years? Yes, you are. While you're here, you are going to add value to our organization. Let's structure the way we do our organization in terms of, like, for example, in the olden days, well, we still do it now. You have to fax your copies and all those kind of things. Young people want to sit in a Starbucks or wherever and say, listen, interview me. They want work. They don't want a job. They want work, which means it's management by objectives. They want to do that work that they like at the time they like, in the comfort of their own space. Our corporates are not ready for that. Immediately you have that conversation, they think, oh, you're unruly. This is what we call disrupting the usual.
Now that you touch on that, right? The future of work. Is that where we're going? Is that where we should be heading to? Are we ready? How do we prepare ourselves?
The train has left.
The train has left.
The train has left the station.
Man, I didn't get my ticket.
The train has left the station.
As usual.
So the train has left the station, and this is big. I mean, in the HR environment, we've been speaking about 4th Industrial Revolution for the past 4 years. So that means that organizations needs to be ready on how we organize work. The example that I gave earlier, that let's say we've got a biotechnologist vacancy. Are we looking for a bum that sits on the chair, somebody visually that we can see there every day? Or should we rather change and say, Misho, come in, these are the objectives that we're giving you, and this is the deadline you have. Misho works wherever he is. I mean, we can connect in these days. We can connect. You don't need to physically see me there, but my work will speak for itself. That's challenge number 1. Number 2 is that if you come there dressed in the way that you dressed, would you respect me and think that I am a reputable biotechnologist? With all these crazy T-shirts, even the language that I'm saying, we're talking about craziness and all these kind of things. Are we ready to adapt that? And my answer to you, I can tell you now, we're not ready because we're so scared of that change. The future of work is happening now. It's not going to happen tomorrow. 4th Industrial Revolution, it's happening now. In fact, we're moving into the 5th Industrial Revolution. And it's so sad because now we're looking at Generation X. We don't even talk about Generation Y anymore. You give your son a phone at that age, already they can interact without even understanding, having been to school, to say this because they learn by what? By visual. Aesthetics. So we are in an environment of aesthetics. So we need to change the way we organize our work, the way we measure our work, to ensure that it is according to where the world is going. That's if we want to be up there.
It's quite interesting. Preparing for the future of work. Are you ready, T?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
It's like you
I'm ready. I'm ready. No. I didn't miss the train.
You say you're ready. The train has left.
I didn't. I'm on the train. I'm on the train.
How is it looking?
It's looking pretty well, thank you. Yeah, but I want us to go back a little bit. The community building stuff that you have.
Yeah.
One of the favorite things that you are championing is the 1,000 computers project.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing?
No,
some?
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a platform. I guess I'm going to market it now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As I said earlier, my heart is I'm a philanthropist at heart, and I was born in Limpopo. And one thing that you get raised there is life does not revolve around you. You are who you are because of your community that you come from. So last year, when I was doing Miss Africa, one of the campaigns, and I'm very passionate towards education because I don't care how much comfort you can build around your home. If your children don't have education, they're not liberated. So in the work that I've done in terms of community work, I've realized that a lot of kids don't have PC literacy. We're not even talking your kind of hacking and everything, just basic
Basics,
PC. And that on its own, it's impediment for their own growth. It means they cannot access things. So a lot of organizations, I mean, I've worked in big corporates. Every 3 years, they do what they call e-waste, which means, okay, your laptop or your MacBook has been here for 3 years. We need to now recycle it. We're giving you new equipment. What happens to those laptops?
Good question.
So that's where I come in. I said, I would like to raise 1,000 PCs, 1,000 printers. I mean, I've got one organization I need to give them. Shout out 7C. They are my client. I do their HR work and they're in the IT space. Nice. So they've donated more than 30 PCs.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. And what we want to do is, we want to get those PCs, get them ready, give them to schools. I mean, you look at Gauteng, they are spoiled of choice. The kids even lose their notebooks. If you go to the rural Limpopo, rural Eastern Cape, people don't even have, the school itself does not even have a computer. And yet we expect the school principal or the school management to be able to reach out and make sure that they meet their objectives in terms of from a leadership point of view. So my thing is, we want to donate those 1,000 laptops, 1,000 pieces to 100 rural schools. Obviously, we're going to start home in Limpopo.
Yes, we have to.
And then from there, we'll donate to everywhere else. So we're really looking, we're really looking for organizations. And I know they do have these things. Tell us who you are. We'll come to you. We'll fetch them. And I'm sure Geek Culture will help us out in terms of programming them. I mean, there's new, one thing that I've learned also. Remember, I'm not a geek, but I definitely want to learn more. Instead of getting the Microsoft license, because that's much more expensive, there's Open Office. I didn't even know about Open Office. We can load that Open Office. The school is able now to capture the statistics for the school and make sure that the school is run as a business itself. So that's what the project is all about.
I like that angle. I think maybe as an addition to that is we have the PCs, but then we need to start training some of the lecturers, the teachers, to actually have the digital skills. Because what we've seen is a couple of organizations, they just put in PCs or notebooks or tablets and whatnot, and the kids are just Googling and doing whatever else they want to do without that basic knowledge. So part of that is if there's anyone out there who's actually based maybe in a region in Limpopo, you can touch base with her to actually
anywhere, in fact.
Anyway, so
even in Joburg.
Anyone out there who has the PCs that they don't need anymore, printers as well. Do connect
notebooks,
anything.
Sure, the list keeps on growing.
Phones, cameras, anything out there that you guys have, and you feel like you can contribute to this. Because we've actually seen this in Soweto, to be specific, where some of the kids, I mean, you'd think they are connected and whatnot, right? And when the basics of using a PC, the knowledge is not there. So you just wonder from some kids out there who've never touched a PC, how are things are. So just for anyone who has PCs out there, do connect with us. We will connect you. And anyone who's got the time as well, who can dedicate their time to actually train people on how to use these PCs. Because it's one thing putting the devices in people's hands. You need to train them how to work with them. Do connect with us and we'll try to make things happen.
It's true what you say, Misho. The further to that, so this was the first arm. The second arm is to ensure that we train. You train the trainers. So at the school, we have a master trainer or a super trainer that can train other kids on PC literacy and also train the educators. Okay. On top of that, we also reach out to organizations like your telecoms organizations. You've got a lot of data that you can give out. These kids, if people at varsity are saying data must fall, imagine how much more the kids at lower primary and primary school feel like. So now we want these things not to be white elephants. We want them to be used every day. So the only way for them to be used is for them to get the skills and also to be connected, to get access. We want somebody to be able to apply for university online to UCT without any hassles, without them getting into a bus and going to some internet cafe. Not that we're killing those businesses, but these children don't have money. So what would they bought the taxi with? What would they bought a bus with? So we want the schools. We know that in the rural areas, the schools are like your communal centers. So we want to use those schools as communal centers so that they can add value to the communities itself. Imagine just having at Takhetalo, you have like 20 pieces every Saturday. Without fail, people are being taught intro to Microsoft, intro to PCs, and all those kind of things. These kids, by the time they get to matric, I promise you, they'll be very, very far.
Nice. And I mean, I see there are other provinces. I like Limpopo, simply because, I mean, we're very quick to adapt to things.
Yeah.
So imagine if young kids were taught at a very, very young age what they would be doing coming to tertiary.
Absolutely.
It'd be really crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, remember, like I said, that we're starting in Limpopo. However, this is for every rural, as long as it's a rural area.
Yeah.
I was in Kimberley a few months ago, and the need is just as dire. You know, and I was saying to them, listen, go to Salt Lake University and see what Geek Culture is doing. But the thing is, they are so far away. I mean, that's another thing in the student chapter there. But now we're talking the very, very basics of literacy into PC. This is an opening into another market that will just blow your mind, where kids are comfortable in terms of technology. They're not scared. You know, they don't panic like that. Now they can start being savvy and use it, in fact, for their own growth and development. Don't look at the phone and think this is jolling time. Yes, you can do that, but use it now for your own growth and development. Youth, you need to take charge of your own growth.
All right, we are going to take another quick break, and we will be back after this.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastownmedia.co.za.
The unique experience. Living as One Events presents relationship talks, drama, Q&A sessions,
music, love stories, ladies and gents session, and lots more. Registration fee at 150 Rand.
happening at Bread of Life Foundation Venue, Honeydew Shopping Center, Bayers Nordia Drive, corner Blueberry Drive, Unit 66, Laser Park, Honeydew. Saturday, 15 September at 11 a.m. RSVP on 072-851-8702.
Live from 27 boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still tuned into the Geeks Connect show. I'm broadcasting live in one of the boxes, the 27 boxes.
And the nice thing about it, I've actually picked up one of the words that she's been using a lot is think out of the box, think out of the box, think out of the box. So it's really great that we're here.
Yes, so we're broadcasting in a box so that you can think outside this box. Yeah, yes. Man. Doesn't get cooler than that. Yeah. Yes, we're still tuned in. Wait, what are we doing?
We are tuned in.
Yeah, oh yes.
We're talking.
We're talking.
In conversations.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
The future of work.
Yeah, there's been a lot today.
We've touched in terms of what things are happening in the HR space, how to prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
Then we went into the future of work, which was touching in terms of, organizations need to think differently because young people currently are thinking differently. And we went into a very nice topic in terms of how do we now have impact within the rural areas by getting things like PCs and printers to those who have never touched, who are disadvantaged. And at the same time, peer-to-peer learning, getting the right people to learn to distribute the knowledge.
Wow, Misha is paying attention.
I
Very
love,
much.
I told you, man, it's gonna be a very hot topic today. I love
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
And we did a bit of gardening as well.
Oh yes, we
Yeah.
did. We did gathering. Let's talk women now.
Okay.
Let's talk about the girls.
Mm.
Women in business.
Yeah.
How are we looking? You have won several accolades yourself. You are a woman in business, but how's the space though?
I think the space the space in women in business, it's a replication or rather duplication of what the society is. So if the society is moving, then we would move in terms of women emancipation. So, but what I've seen nowadays is there's been a lot of conversations on how people can be very, 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 very involved. So one thing that I believe in as being a woman, I'm very intentional and purposeful in what we're doing. I don't want you just to bring me there just to look nice and everything. I want to add value. Do not give me business because I'm a woman. Give me business because I'm capable.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of companies, I mean, within the HR space again, and this is a talk of town now with the triple B. People are saying triple B is not relevant. It is so wrong because triple B gives you, it's a very nice tool that it gives you the different methodology, the different areas that you in your organization will be able to come back and plow back. And it's measurable. Of which women it's part of, and other designated groups like your youth and your disabled people living with disabilities. It's one thing. So, literally, you cannot be in women emancipation if you do not have Ubuntu, if you do not understand where we come from. And in 1956. The Lillian Goy, they didn't go to union buildings just for passes. If you understand that concept, it was a concept of saying, please do not put me in a box. Please do not say to me, this is how women should be. I want to be how I want to be. Whether I want to be lesbian, whether I want to be a full-grown woman, whatever. So my lifestyle, my sexual orientation, my body weight does not have anything to do with my capabilities.
Yes.
Measure me for what I can bring forth. Don't measure me because of the looks and everything else.
Sure.
And also, I am not your charity case.
Nice.
I am not your charity case. If you give me business, don't go out there and laud yourself and say, oh, wow, I've given it to women. Say, I've given it to this very enabled or very competent organization. So gone are those days where organizations will come in and say, oh, we're doing so well for women. Many of them, it's just a show. Just like what we do on 67 Mandela Day.
Yeah.
They tick, and you look at the organizational perception survey. That's an HR side. You look at how they relate with women from January up until December. That's where you'll pick up that their motives is not to emancipate or grow women, but rather just to comply. And those things are seen.
All right. You said that there's a site with the states. What site is that?
Say again?
The site with the states for organizational review.
Okay, employee perception survey. It's not a site, but it's a mechanism that employers use in order to find out how the employees feel about the organization. And it's got a whole lot of things. We will ask about, do you love the space that you work in? Or do you love the management style? Do you like the values of the organization? Do you like the remuneration? So it's a whole list. So each organization will go and ask questions based on their prerogatives or rather objectives for the coming year. So it's called employee perception surveys.
Okay.
So it's just a climate survey to find out how people feel, So yeah, so I think something that's very close to my heart is, do not do things for women because you think you're doing them a favor, or don't do things for women if your heart is not in the right place.
I was actually about to say, maybe I think one of the things that we miss out from maybe the male point of view is that educational element. There's sometimes how would you go about educating us to be not just supportive, but to change the mindset? What are some of the key things that you think men need to be educated around?
Okay. So and this is not a once-off thing, Misho, and it's quite a big phenomenon. So we need to ensure from home how we raise our children, our boy child, and how they relate with their girl child. So from home, I mean, typically that you'll say, no, don't do this because you're a boy. Don't do this because you're a girl. That's where it starts. But immediately they come into organizations, look at spaces and say, listen, if Rehab wants to be a drill rigger, I want to be a drill rigger. Don't tell me this is not a man's job or this is not a woman's job. So think about what I would like to do. That's number one. Number two, in terms of relating to females and males, whether you're a brother or colleagues and everything else, open up the conversation and say, what is it? How would you like to be related to? Okay, so don't say from a man point of view and say, listen, no, this is how we do it. This is how we make women feel. For the fact that I feel that as a woman I'm discriminated against, it's because sometimes you don't even know how to relate with me. So those open conversations need to be spoken about. And remember, again, women are individuals. So we have our individual things that on how we like things to be done. Just like you'll ask Dion on how he wants his things to be done. The same conversation needs to happen about women. Don't think too hard and say, oh no, she's a woman, maybe I mustn't ask her. Don't make it so institutional. It must be a very cordial conversation so that she tells you how she wants to be treated and you tell her how you want to be treated. And also be open for that feedback.
Yeah.
When come back and say, listen, dude, I know your intention was good, but I didn't like the way you related to me. Be open, find out where it comes from.
Nice. There's quite a lot of stuff with learning today.
Yeah, but let's give a quick break and do a few announcements of
Yes.
we call this the Gig Guide.
The Geek Guide.
The Gig Guide.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, man. This weekend, today it's all about Limpopo. We've got 3 Limpopians in studios. Yeah, 3 Limpopians in studio right now, and all eyes on Limpopo.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we are heading to the University of Limpopo.
Yes.
Hosting a health hackathon. So that should be an interesting one, exploring topics of how accessible are medicines for residents of Limpopo, access to health facilities and such. So the hackathon will be happening from tomorrow afternoon until Saturday afternoon, and we're joined in by the colleagues from the CPSI. That's the Center for Public Service Innovation, the Department of Public Service and Administration. The Innovation Hub is also coming through, which is exciting.
Awesome.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So a whole lot of people will be there. If you know someone around Polokwane, let them know the gigs are in town.
I mean, if you are in Venda, if you're in Guyana, you can make
Yes,
your way to University of
Malamlele.
Limpopo. Come through. We'll be there at Limpopo. It's high time we go back home and do some really cool stuff there as well. So check us out tomorrow, and looking forward to seeing what the gigs from Limpopo have.
And then it will be the Republic of Cape Town.
Yes, we're going to the Republic of Cape Town. So Cape Town, we're coming for you on the 29th of August
Until the 30th.
We're coming through with CPSI, and there'll be a hackathon there as well. Venue to be. We'll give you guys the dates about the venue, but we already have the registration portal up, right?
Yes, we do.
So you guys can start registering. Maybe a little bit of info about the hack.
Yeah, so this is a public sector innovation hackathon. It will run in parallel with the conference. Basically, looking at how do we go agile towards strengthening partnerships in the public sector. You know, looking at how does one department work with the other effectively. Looking at how does the public sector work with private sector as well. So there will be a whole lot of things happening in there. With a bigger focus on data, and one of the things we're very much passionate about is gender data. You know, there is not a lot of gender data out there, so we need to look at ways. How do we generate gender data? How do we utilize it to unlock new innovation? How do we make sure that we leave no one behind? So there will be a lot of open data things integrated as part of the hackathon. So Cape Town, the gigs will be in town.
And then the next day, the 31st of August until the 2nd of September, Northern Cape, we see the guys from Northern Cape have also joined the conversation. They're watching this. So Northern Cape, we're heading there. Well, T is heading there to DR.
Oh, yes. DR, it's one of those towns, you know. It's exciting. We're in DR in 2016. We did the Skate Hacks project for young people, you know. And we promised them that we'll be back. We also visited the rural FET college there, you know, so they did highlight their outcries, you know, they are not included in things, they want to be enabled, they want to know more and things like that. And then we said one of these days we'll be back. So 31st until the 2nd of September, we are in DR. at the Solar Capital Community Training Center, and the hackathon will be taking place there. It's the 5th annual Northern Cape Developer Ecosystem Hackathon. And then end of September.
Yes, end of September is a big one. One that's making us do a lot of runarounds and meeting some really interesting people within so many sectors. Is the Ignite Hackathon. I would want to call it the Presidential Hackathon, but I can't. It's called the Ignite Hackathon.
You can, go ahead.
Okay, well, we're saying it's Ignite publicly. But it's a Presidential Hackathon. We might just have number 1 coding. That will be quite interesting. But there'll be different things happening. The government involved, and we urge you guys to join in. You can you can sign up if you haven't. Actually, people are really signing, over 100 people.
Yeah, we've got 145 people registered right now.
Yes, and the tickets are really moving very fast. So do join in DevPost.
Ignitehack.devpost.com.
Yes, ignitehack.devpost.com.
Yes. Now, getting back to Madam Rehab Matabane.
Now he gets it wrong.
Oh, shucks. I know, Misho. I know the time is running out.
Yes. I know you're enjoying this conversation. I just have to give you a heads up.
Okay. Just quickly, Takayatela Career Expo, just in a few seconds, can you tell us a little about that?
Okay, Takayatela Career Expo. This is an expo basically looking at careers out of the mainstream. Again, it's just to expose and disrupt the normal way of doing career guidances. We showcase people in careers that people have never thought about. We showcase gigs. And I need to mention that last year, for the very, very first time, we had a gig work week in Takatala. Again, we breaking the barriers of non-conformity and non-development.
So the new rock stars.
Absolutely. So we're exposing these learners to people that are in careers that they never knew. And how we match up the careers that we showcase is I use my HR networks again to find out on the careers that are going to be more marketable in the coming 5 years. Because you find that a lot of children learn things that in 2-3 years, they're not going to be employable. So we need to make sure that you study towards things that you would be employable.
Okay. And any last words to the geeks out there?
Where can they find you? How do they connect with you?
Oh, yeah. You see, I need to learn. So I'm on Instagram at Rehab Matabane. On Twitter, it's at Mapitsu Holdings, and Facebook, it's Rehab Matabane, and I've got a page, is Miss Africa International 2018.
Oh yes, about that, Miss Africa International. Quickly, what's that about?
Miss Africa is a pageant that looks to recognize women that are doing good work within the community. So it's not just about the pretty face. You've got to go and put your hand to the plow. So that's why I went through this, because it's another way of opening up and going to attract sponsors, because we do need sponsors. We do need companies to come in and invest in all the social corporate things that we want to be doing. So yeah, that's why I entered Miss Africa. So it's not just about the beauty.
Is a summary of a summary of a summary.
Yeah, yeah.
We done.
And did you mention your Twitter account?
Yes. My Twitter, yes.
Oh,
it's
okay.
at Mapitsu Holdings.
All right.
You're not focusing.
Yeah.
I am focused.
What are we saying about the brain thingy again?
Yeah,
guys, thank you guys for listening. We see some of your comments there. We'll take note of that.
Yes. The podcast will be up. You'll see it on social media. Follow at Brand Live Radio on Twitter, on Facebook, at Geek Culture, # Geeks Connect. We'll be back next week. Next week we have Madam Leslie Williams,
yes,
the CEO of Tsimologong. So we'll be talking all things innovation and be sure to tune in. And
innovation, incubation, and anything you want to know in that space.
Yeah. So from myself,
and myself,
and herself,
and ourselves,
and ourselves.
Goodbye to yourselves.
Goodbye to yourselves.
Bye.
Live from 27 boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.